We are Cisco's most certified provider in Romania. We've made the effort. We have more than 100 engineers who have more than 200 Cisco certifications, and that enable us to deliver these services. And in fact, this year, I'll just read it, if I may, the certifications that we got, because I think it basically demonstrates our commitment to Cisco as an organization and our commitment in order to deliver these services. Earlier this year we became the Romanian Partner of the Year for Borderless Networks, which is the new Cisco architecture covering routing, switching, security, wireless and WAN optimization. We became the Partner of the Year for Managed Services, so that's from a Romanian perspective. In March in New Orleans we were awarded basically 4 awards. One was for the Collaboration Partner of the Year, Commercial Partner of the Year, Service Provider of the Year, Technology Excellence, Unified Communications and Collaborations. So I think we are making that investment in the knowledge that we will be able to provide our customers the highest level of products and services to meet their expectations. More and more we're seeing both consumer and business customers using tablet devices, not PCs, but tablet devices, be it an Apple, be it a Samsung, be it a Dell, or this, that and the other. Now the interesting thing that you have, just in that, is that it is predicted that the growth in these devices will outstrip the number of PCs in the next 3 to 5 years. So we are seeing a complete shift in the way that we actually communicate. Now, what does that actually mean? The new devices, they don't use Windows. Most of them seem to be based on Android as an operating system. It gives you an indication in terms of where the development of the applications will come from and how these applications are developed. So when Cisco talks about changes in the market and how these changes will drive the technology and infrastructure that we use, that's a very good example. Cisco basically say by the year 2013, in excess of 99% of data communications on anybody's network will be video. Okay? Video will be the way that we actually communicate. So for companies like Romtelecom, where we need to make sure that we can provide the communications in a seamlessly transparent way, is just demonstrates when one talks about the ability to deliver things like software as a service, cloud computing. IDC, I'll stimulate the conversation. IDC basically said that if you actually look at Europe as a market, and it believes that in the next 5 years, the major 5 European countries businesses will be able to save something like 40% of their operating budgets by just going to a software as a service business model. Not my numbers, not Cisco numbers, IDC numbers. If you look at the growth in terms of this market, I think the compound growth year on year is in excess of 25%. People everywhere are looking at new ways to develop new technology, to reduce their operating model, and at the same time to be able to find new applications to run their businesses more effectively, more simply. So we have lots of examples. The example I gave, and the last one and I'll finish, but for me it was, as I prepared for the conference, I started to think about what has been happening over the last 10, 20 years. Because the technology changes are immense. And I found an example. I'll share it with you. So it's a very interesting example, at least I think so. To put a man on the moon. You know, it took NASA 10 years. 10 years they worked at putting a man on the moon. They had 36,000 people working for NASA, making the technology work to be able to put the guy on the moon. They had 376,000 external subcontractors. They had a budget, this is what I love, so I'd love some of this budget, $25 billion US dollars. Now if you think about the technology that was taken to put the man on the moon, the computing power to get the satellite up, put it back down again, bring it back down again. This device today is more powerful than the computers that were used to put a man on the moon. Put that into perspective. So it's not, this technology drives all of the infrastructure and architecture that you don't necessarily see, that enables us to actually deliver the products and services. So we have taken such a huge leap in the last 20 years. What is actually happening, the product life cycle is becoming shorter and shorter. The technology steps are becoming bigger and bigger. The use of, for example, video is becoming more and more prevalent in our everyday communications. I mean, this is an example, has one video camera. The new iPad has two. So you can do it this way and this way, okay? But it just shows how people are getting more and more used to using video as a way of communication. One of the examples that we used also is, for example, there's a Swiss bank now who is giving telepresence capability to its high-value customers. Everybody is fighting to make sure that they can maintain a customer, that they can provide the highest value and quality of services. So the way they communicate with the customer, they don't want them to come to a branch. They actually want to have one-to-one video communication. They believe that this will actually enhance the relationship and allow them to keep more of the services that this guy is going to spend with this bank than with any other. So there's just some few examples for you that may start this conversation. I was at the beginning of this year. We went to Deutsche Telekom. They have an annual kick-off meeting to talk about the plans and everything else. And the chief executive of Deutsche Telekom stood up with his tablet and he said that by the end of this year he expected every one of the managers within Deutsche Telekom to have a tablet as a business tool. He himself actually uses it exclusively and the way he communicates. So what you're beginning to see, tablets in many cases, because they still can be quite expensive devices, are now being seen as a must-have for a business tool. Deutsche Telekom philosophy is every one of the top 1,000 managers needs to be able to have a tablet in order, first of all, to sample the experience and understand how to use it. But more importantly, it will drive the demand, both in terms of the technology, but also the applications that sit behind it. There are two growth areas that I can actually see it over the last 18 months. The first area is video conferencing. In a time of a recession where people are more and more careful in terms of how they spend their money, what they are finding is this type of technology and the quality of the technology means that they can actually implement it far easier. So we are seeing more and more of our customers coming to Romtelecom and saying, design solutions for us in order to be able to implement the solutions across the Romtelecom network. The second area that we're also seeing is area of video surveillance. We are beginning to see, we launched a product called BlueCam. It's a video monitoring application. But what we're also seeing is that more and more companies are seeing the ability to be able to use video as not only to communicate, but also to develop security applications to help them run their businesses better. So they come to Romtelecom. We work with a number of systems integrators to put together in some cases, quite complex applications to improve security for some of our customers. So there are two areas that we see on a day-to-day basis.